Hey everyone, welcome to the Dawnbreaker. This is a water build in Grim Dawn that heavily focuses on retaliation and lightning damage. It's also fulfilling a kind of request that I got to do a tanky character, like a really tanky character. So let's hop into the skills. This character is built around savagery. So we have savagery at 16 out of 16, tenacity of the boar at 1, and then Storm Touched at 12 out of 12. Now, Storm Touched does get plus skills, and I'm thinking of reducing it down to its cap with the plus skills. But given that this is a level 70-ish Snapshot, some of these abilities are going to change in their numbers or even in their existence. So take what I say with a grain of salt until I get to 85 with this character and do a finished full build video for it. Additionally, in the Shaman, we have Stormcaller's Pact at 6 out of 12. This will get to 12 out of 12, and that's what we want to keep that at. Storm Totem is at 3 out of 16. I'm considering getting this to cap, but I'm also considering getting Maelstrom on the Wind Devil line to cap, but I don't know if I'm going to end up using either of these. And I'll get to that in a minute, as to why that is. Mogdragon's Pact, the entire line, gets a single point each. On the soldier side of things, Warcry is at 10 out of 12, and that's going to go up to 12 out of 12 with plus skills. I have a single point in Markovian's Advantage and Fighting Spirit. Don't know if I'm going to keep those there. They're helpful for leveling up and getting a little bit of extra damage in, but I don't know if I'm going to focus on them. It is an option to pick up Markovian's Advantage and or Zolhan's Technique because Savagery is a main attack replacement skill. And you'll still get these two abilities to proc. Blitz gets 1 point, and that's always going to be there. Counter-Strike gets 1 point. It will get a bunch of plus skills. We have 1 point on Mainer's Will, Shield Training, Veterancy, Decorated Soldier, and Scars of Battle. Additionally, 1 point on Overguard, 10 points on Military Conditioning, and 12 out of 12 on both Field Command and Squad Tactics. Field Command and Squad Tactics are an amazing aura, both for you, and it will affect your party if you're partying up with people. And I'm just gonna talk about it right now. So I don't know what I'm gonna be doing for the final skill layout for this build quite yet. We're in Ultimate, and we're doing good in Ultimate. This character is really, really tanky. She can take a ton of damage before you even notice it because she has a lot of defenses loaded out. And this is kind of interesting because it means I can pretty much do whatever I want for attack abilities. Now, Savagery is a requirement because of the set we're using and why it's called Dawnbreakers, but I don't know what I want to use for the other abilities. I want to try to get a rotation in, and right now, Wind Devil and Storm Totem aren't really doing that. They're basically just press these buttons when they come off cooldown, in addition to holding down the left click. I want something more interactive, and I don't exactly know what I want to do yet for that. I'm maybe thinking, because it's a sword and board build, I'm maybe thinking of running Force Wave on its cooldown version, because it'll inherit all my damage types because it deals weapon damage. And it deals a lot of bleed damage, which we have support for bleed damage a little bit in the build. But I'm also considering Blade Arc in its cooldown form as sort of a big swinger. Like I'm sitting there plunking away with Savagery, rotate on Blade Arc or Force Wave as a big sweeper. I don't quite know what I'm going to do yet for that. So I'm going to equip my gear and we'll talk about it as we go. So the Dawnbreaker set is the requirement here. This was a challenge from Sino for someone to make a warder that actually uses this set. Because a lot of people build this around the Saboteur instead of the warder. And I wanted to do a warder with the Dawnbreaker set. So the Dawnbreaker Sledge is our weapon. It has Lightning Bolt, which will proc when we attack. Dawnbreaker's Duty is our shield. It has Lightning Nova, which will proc when we block. Dawnbreaker's Shoulder Guard is a shoulder guard with lots of lightning and lightning retaliation on it. And the Dawnbreaker's Beacon is our amulet. It has a bunch of stats on it. Probably most importantly is the increased maximum elemental res, but also the set converts a lot of physical to lightning. So we do want to have a good chunk of, if we have anything, I should say, that deals physical damage, it'll get converted. We also have a crap ton of retaliation just in this set. Now I can't put the amulet on because we don't have the 290 spirit, but we'll get to that. I do recommend at least one piece of gear giving you spirit, because, and I'd say Eye of the Storm is probably your best bet on that, because we're not putting any points at all into spirit. It's all going into physique. Say we have 50 and 50 as our base, cunning and spirit. We want all physique. We want to be as tough as we can be with this character. For the rest of the gear, I have 2 pieces of the Herald's Markings set, the level, I think it's 65. It's 70 right now because I have augments on it. But the higher level version, the empowered version of the Herald set. The empowered Hermit's leg guards, or it's leg guards, are there for the bonus experience, and I'll switch these out when we get at or near level 85. Black Steel Gauntlets are some retaliation gauntlets. Wormscale foot pads are just some lightning boots. I'm probably going to replace these later on, but they work okay for now. Empowered Mark of the Templar is probably going to get replaced as well, but it'll work for now. Our belt is, of course, Tinkerer's Ingenuity. That's probably going to be our belt at the end of the game. And our rings are the Open Hand of Mercy and the Closed Fist of Vengeance for the Judicator's 2-piece. Now, altogether, Judicator's gives us a lot of defenses all around, some retaliation bonuses, some offensive ability bonuses, and the Sealed Fate ability, so 100% chance on enemy death. We get a heal, and then some bonus offensive and defensive ability. For the Dawnbreaker set, altogether it gives us Dawnbreaker, which is when we're hit by melee attacks, 15% chance to deal some lightning damage, electrocute damage, and confuse the targets and reduce their damage. So we have, it's like a flashbang effect. You'll see it when we actually get in the field. So the Dawnbreaker set is actually pretty awesome. It gives us a lot of bonuses to what we want to do as a sort of like retaliation tank, while not pigeonholing us into that role. So like I said, I maybe am going to take 2 points off of Storm Touched and throw them elsewhere, but you can see where all my plus skills are going. I don't know where I'm going to invest my points in the future, but the options, like I have about 30 left, so the options to me that are very clear are Scars of Battle to increase the armor absorption, Veterancy to increase the health regen, and Shield Training to increase our shield ability, our ability to block. If we combine these 3 things, I think we're going to end up with an amazing defense on top of what we have already. Probably borderline immortal for this character. I'm also considering, because Shield Training is increasing the physical damage of the shield, the shield swing, we could maybe work it in with Force Wave, which will convert that physical damage to lightning damage. The reason I'm saying this is because, like I said before, the character's a little on the boring side right now in terms of its rotation, and I kind of want to just come up with something that'll be a little more interesting than left clicking and then throwing down totems. Okay, so for Devotion, it's a pretty interesting one. Normally you wouldn't be this defense oriented with Devotion anymore. You'd go for something more damage dealy, but with this character I really wanted tankiness, so we're going straight up the Order Primordial combo line. So what you want to start with is probably picking up your 2 big primordial gets, the Sailor's Guide and the Eel. This will give you 10 primordial. This will open up about half of what you're going to need in total, and then you can come over and pick up the Tortoise. Actually, I'd probably say do the Tortoise first, and then go for the 2 more passive-y things, because you'll get Turtle Shell, and you have that leveling up pretty much from the point you pick it up near the beginning of the game. You also want to shoot for the Panther, and to give you a nice bit of like more offensive things. With your, I believe that will give you 4, right? Yes. Okay, with your 4 and your 6 Primordial and Primordial Order combo, I'm getting it out, you'll get the Shield Maiden, and the Shield Maiden will give you your 8 Order, and between all of this you'll have almost all of the Primordial you'll need in order to pick up your 3 big things. But you'll also be able to pick up the Scales of Okama, and Scales of Okama gives you a lot of defensive stuff, in addition to giving you the Tip the Scales ability, which is a nice burst of damage when you're hit. Now your three big constellations up here are the Obelisk of Maynor, Light of Empyrean, and the Tree of Life. I recommend picking up Obelisk of Maynor first because you'll get your retaliation damages out of the way, and this node right here, the 150 armor, this is on every single piece of armor you have. So that's a lot of armor. And then you'll get a % increase of armor. And then you just get some defensive ability things and shield things, and oh look at that, more armor. And then reduce stun and freeze durations, and you'll pick up this ability, Stone Form. Then I recommend Light of the Empyrean. You get elemental res, bonus fire damage and damage to Chthonics, bonus elemental res, vitality res, aether and chaos res. Then you'll deal some flat fire damage with all your attacks, and then some maximum aether and chaos res increases, and you get the Light of Empyrean ability. So when you're hit, you basically have this giant, like, space laser, I guess. Light from the heavens will burst down on you and just burn everything around you. And then we're gonna finish off. I don't have all my devotion points yet, of course. We're gonna finish off with Tree of Life. And Tree of Life, it's a lot of health and health regen, and an ability that's basically a heal when you're hit. That gives you a ton of health and health regen. So, yeah, this character is going to get a crap ton of tankiness by finishing this off, because they'll get a freebie heal whenever they're hit. I can't really think of any other devotion spec I'd go for a super tanky retaliation build. So yeah, you can shoot for Tortoise and Panther, Shield Maiden, probably Scales, and then I redo what I said earlier. Yeah, Tortoise, Panther, Shield Maiden, Scales, then get these two, then you can get your Obelisk, then your Light, and then your Tree. And I'm really interested to see what Healing Rain does, because it's an area of effect thing. So we are kind of fitting with this Paladin concept too, because we have a bunch of auras and we have a group heal. And yeah, this is what our auras look like, turned on. Takes away half our energy, but we have 7 things turned on. And Mogdragon's Pact is a radius. Field Command's a radius. Counter-Strike isn't. But Aether Ward is a radius. Chaos Ward, or Void Ward, I should say, is a radius. And the Storm Caller Aura from Eye of the Storm, also a radius. So we are kind of also an Aura Den. We're passing around auras to all of our friends. And here are various stats. I will scroll through a little bit. We're dealing lightning damage predominantly. We can look at Savagery real quick. We got that fire damage worked in there from Light of the Empyrean. This is our damage blocked and chance to block. With shield training, the chance to block will be increased. And then this is our absurd amount of lightning retaliation we do. Yeah, we have a lot of retaliation % on pretty much everything. But a couple, I'd like to maybe, I don't know if there is electrocute retaliation on any gear we can pick up easily. Oh, we have pierce retaliation too. It could be that using the Perdition set, the empowered one, in the helmet, chest, and gloves pieces could give us a lot more retaliation and work acid in. But right now we're going to stick with the lightning retaliation, pierce retaliation thing. So we're going to jump into being in the field, because I think I covered all of the basics of the build. Oh yeah, and here are resistances. So into the field we go. We're gonna go kill the Warden. Yeah, find the Warden's lab, eh? I think I found it. So yeah, we're just gonna throw down our stuff. So we war cry generally closer to the front of the fight. And yeah, that'll reduce health on the enemies, reduce their damage as well. War cry during the fight. And yeah, we took that guy down pretty quickly. As you can see, we just take hits and nothing is hurting us. I don't even think I need to build this character more tanky, but I'm gonna build the character more tanky. Now I'm just gonna skip this room. The reason for that is we're heavily into lightning damage and it would just take forever to kill all those corruptions. So we're gonna run in here, we're gonna throw totems down and work these enemies over. Also, the corruptions are ranged, and if you're doing retaliation, the ranged damage will not actually work against. Or I should say, the ranged damage the enemies deal will not actually proc your retaliation damages. So you kind of have to rely on hitting them to kill them. I know, it's barbaric. You have to resort to swinging a mace into someone's head to kill them, rather than letting them hit you and just die. But yeah, that does happen with this build. with the range things. Now, you'll see that our melee, when we're hit with melee attacks, we'll get the Light of the Empyrean thing, which is the big light beam. And that flashbang effect is our Dawnbreaker proc. And I'd say ranged damage is our weakness, or at least getting hit by ranged damage is our weakness. But it's not really a weakness, I would say. It's more of an unfortunate thing that we don't have a direct response to aside from hitting the enemies. Because, like, we're not getting damaged at all, really, in this area. It's almost kind of ridiculous. I mean, we've obviously taken some damage because our constitution is down a bit, but yeah, we just took tons and tons of shots and that was it. Now, what I don't want to do with the retaliation build is just have it be a character that's running through things, not doing anything. And one of the big things with this build right now is as I mentioned, I find it to be, oh, he's electrified. We're going to skip him. It would just take too much time. So we're just going to skip by these guys. Those guys just exploded because they touched me. Yeah, that's what I kind of want to maybe work in Force Wave on rotation, on cooldown. Maybe get one or two other abilities I can work in that are on cooldown. Just so it's not boring. Like, that's a big thing for me with Grim Dawn builds, is I don't want to make this just a simple hold down left click and run through enemy build. I always want my builds to be interesting to play in some way. Sometimes you just don't get that, but that's sort of the risk here. That's why I don't have an updated pet build guide, is I don't want to have a pet build where you just stand there and let your pets do all the work. It's just not fun to me. That's why I really want this guy to not just be a left click build. So I don't build left click builds. Even though they're really powerful, or can be really powerful. I just find them exceedingly boring. I think that was maybe so many procs were happening at the same time that Grim Dawn got a little scared and locked up for a second. Yeah, so it will take a second to kill this guy off, to kill Zambrant. But if he melee attacks us like that, we'll actually respond and deal some damage to him. And we kind of are, we're not reliant on the enemies hitting us, but it is definitely a factor in our clear speed. I mean, we're not even like maxed out yet. We're still at 71. So we're doing some nice work here for a character at 71. And yeah, for me, just hitting Wind Devil and Storm Totem, it's not enough. Like, I have this diplomacy ability, which I actually kind of like. It's a little counterintuitive to what we do because it's, you know, it's a stun, but I like having diplomacy in here as an option just to swing with it. It also keep, you know, squishy things like the normal mobs that come in here. Like, we could just pop diplomacy as an ability, like come over here and just stun them, and then they won't bug us for a short period of time. So that's an option for like more complicated fights, like maybe, I don't think it's gonna work that good in Log Heron. It didn't really work when I went and fought him, but yeah, it's a potential thing to rotate in. Here, I have to actually look at it real quick. I don't remember what else it does. Oh, chance to confuse. So yeah, this isn't gonna do anything to the boss man here. Warcry should reduce his damage a little bit. I just did like the ventriloquist thing where I'm sitting here and fighting and I took a sip of water. Because you just sit here and left click away. So this is the build as it presently stands. It should get more interesting as we get to level 85. It's handling ultimate great. It is super tanky. I mean, look at that. Yeah, get wrecked. Get wrecked, Krieg. Let's see what we get out of our treasure chests. Oh, we got the Codex of Lies. That's a build I have to work on. A Chaos Aether Ray build. But that's going to cover the Dawnbreaker for now. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And I will see you guys next time for more Grim Dawn stuff.